Hello, my name is Monica Dietz, and today we are going to talk about how to use the class report to inform your instruction. Our example report is from a second grade class in the area of math. So this box right away gives us a lot of information. I can see that 25 students took this assessment in this class, and their mean RIT, or their average score, was a 179.9. All right, that's just a number, so right away you want to have some relevance to that number. And the best way to do that is by knowing what your grade level mean is, meaning what is the 50th percentile for that class. And second graders in the area of math on the fall test, the average is a 175. Okay, that's the 50th percentile. Students performing the 50th percentile in second grade on the math assessment score 175. Now, our class's mean RIT is a 179.9, so I know most of my students, or at least average there, is above that norm. Also going to look at the median RIT, which is 181. So that's just the middle child. If I chart all of my students from highest achieving to lowest, or lowest to highest, my 13th student scored a 181, and those mean and median RITs are going to be similar. Standard deviation is how far apart your students are in their achievement, and a 9 is a relatively low number. So I'm going to pull this up. This is the MAP norms, and it's nice if you know what the student norms are for each assessment. So like in second grade, I said it's 175, and there it is, okay, in math. And then the standard deviation average is 12.9. So I know my kids are pretty close together, okay? You should know that in the winter in second grade math, it's 184, and then it's 189, and you can see that standard deviation goes up just a bit. Then a couple other numbers that are beneficial to know is this district grade level mean RIT. That is really your school. So if your school has 3 classes, that's all your classes combined, their average score. The thing by looking at this that I can see is this class's score was 179.9, but they are right on track with the kids in that grade. So that would tell me that the teachers at this school can collaborate a lot because they have similarly achieving students. Here, this shows me that I have 14 students performing at or above our school's average score, 179.8, okay? And then if I go down here, we have 17 students at or above this 175 number, which is the grade level norm across the nation, okay? This also is really great because it tells us where our students fell in their percentile rank. So quickly, we have 4 students performing between the 21st and 40th percentile, 6 kids that are performing just absolutely average. That's what's expected at that grade level, 41 to 60. And then we have 14 kids right here performing above that 61st percentile, 7 here and 7 here. Okay. And then it gives the median RIT again here, the standard deviation, and then this is just a range of scores, okay? And that allows for some error in there, but we go with that 180. And they're getting that from here, this mean RIT 179.9, 180. Okay. So the next thing, this circle's the same, or this square, is the same as the one on the last page. Again, this is the same as the one on the last page. But what we want to do is look at the goal areas. So these are the areas that are tested, and take a moment and think, where are my students performing really well? And where might we need some extra work? And also, I wonder why that is. So when you're looking at this report, you want to just keep thinking, I wonder. And you have all of this data, and it can give you questions. Okay, so my question here would be, wow, we're really high in geometry. Okay, I have 17 kids performing above the 80th percentile. See that? And as a whole test, I only had 7. But in the area of geometry, you have 17. So as someone just looking at this report and not working as the teacher in this classroom, my wonder would be, we must have spent, or did we rather spend a lot of time in geometry this fall? Okay. And that's what I would assume. Other thing I'd look at is I still have 3 kids performing below the 20th percentile, and then a 4th right here that's below the 40th. So these kids have some gaps in their learning. And if I have so many kids performing so high, I feel like these kids might have been left behind. So do we need to see who those students are and provide them extra support? Just a question you want to ask yourself. And then here, operations and algebraic thinking. So I wonder, why do we have most of our students, 16 of our kids, performing below the 40th percentile and only 3 performing above the 80th? Maybe we really haven't spent so much time on operations and algebraic thinking, okay? I wonder if that is true. But it's good to look at these and then ask yourselves questions, or guide, like I said, guide your instruction moving forward, okay? If you have a really low point, we would hope we would have a really high point too, and they do. Again, it breaks out the mean RIT just for that area. It gives you the median RIT, okay? So this is the average, this is the middle number, and then how far apart our kids are. So our students were performing really the closest together in measurement and data, and then the farthest apart in operations and algebraic thinking. The farther apart that standard deviation number, the more differentiation you are going to need. Then we go down here and we see each child's achievement at a glance, okay? This is sorted from highest achievement, our lowest to highest. And really, a good reason to look at this is say, are there any outliers? Did anyone perform differently than I thought they would? Okay. Maybe they're achieving much better in class than they are on this assessment. And then you want to dig into these numbers and see why. So I'm going to pick out this kid right here. All right, this student performed in the 32nd percentile. And I'm wondering, is this student actually performing at a higher level in class? Okay, we're going to say, I think he is. And then so I'm going to say, well, if he only got the 32nd percentile, what caused that score? Or, wasn't in what impacted it? So I can see the test date right away. This student took the test on a different day. So maybe he'd been sick or absent or whatever, but something, he was different. Also, maybe that testing environment wasn't ideal. Not sure, all wonders, but good to make note of that. And then also he only took 21 minutes. So as a teacher, it's good to see how long your students take. So this is the norm for math, okay? And in 2nd grade on the fall test, 41 minutes is the average amount of time. So if you have students are finishing this assessment in significantly less time than that, like 21 minutes, half that time, probably going too fast. If you have students that are taking like 80 minutes, okay, they're probably going too slow, and you want to encourage them to slow down before they take the assessment. So you can remind them that they're going to get half of the questions right, half the questions wrong. Because when we find students taking a really long time on the assessment, they're probably spending time on those questions they don't know. So it's best to make your best guess and move on. You can also track that when they're taking the assessment. And if most of your class is on question 20, someone's on question 10, give them just a tap on the shoulder, ask them how their assessment's going. And I forget if I said if they're going too fast or too slow, but either way, if someone's really performing slowly or quickly, you want to just tap them, say, how's it going? Let them respond, and then remind them they either should slow down or speed up. And then finally, this is just these individual student scores in these goal areas. So geometry was D. Notice we have a lot of high students here. but I'm going to see who was low. This student is low, meaning they're performing below the 20th percentile. Okay. And then we have low average below the 40th. So I want to peek at these kids and see, do they need more support in that area? And so this is just a good idea. And if you have trouble remember what low average is, just hop up here and you can see low average. I hope this video provided you some insight on how to use the class report moving forward. And if you ever have any questions, please reach out. Have a great day.